17-year-old Ikea Hood was shot and killed over the weekend. She very recently gave birth to a baby girl. According to court documents, 17-year-old Trayvon Wright was the one who murdered her. Police say they were in an on and off relationship, and he believed he was the father of the child. He was not, and he found out. Fox 4's Rebecca Butcher, live in Dallas with the update. Rebecca.
Yeah, Steve. Well, Dallas police say that 17-year-old Ikea Hood was shot and killed by her boyfriend. In an arrest warrant affidavit, says that Hood planned to tell the suspect that he was not the father of her newborn child. Dallas police say 17-year-old Trayvon Wright was arrested for murder Tuesday by U.S. Marshals and booked into the Dallas County Jail. The victim, Lancaster High School junior Ikea Hood, was fatally shot Sunday morning at her mother's home on Grambling Drive in southeast Oak Cliff, according to Wright's arrest warrant affidavit. Hood's family has said she gave birth to a baby girl just 3 weeks prior. According to the affidavit, Hood's mother told police the suspect and Hood had been in an on-again, off-again dating relationship for the past 2 years, and that Hood had recently learned that her newborn daughter had not been fathered by suspect Wright. Hood's mother also told police her daughter planned to confess to Wright Sunday, January 7th, the day the murder took place, according to the documents. They also say Wright believed the newborn child to be his. The affidavit says Hood's mother heard a loud noise in her home around 10:30 a.m. and said she'd seen Wright in Hood's room. She found that the door was locked from the inside. The 17-year-old girl's mother became concerned for complainant Hood's safety and began banging on the door. She then approached Hood's bedroom from the outside and noted that the window was open and that the screen had been pushed outside of the residence. Hood's mother discovered Hood was suffering from a gunshot wound and Wright was gone. When paramedics arrived, they found Hood deceased. Dallas police have not said where they arrested Wright or how they tracked him down, and they have not said whether a possible murder weapon was recovered or where Wright may have gotten the gun. Hood was a member of the Tigerettes dance team at Lancaster High School and also danced with Next Level Community Dance Group in Dallas.
Okay, Shalom. Giving all praises to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shah, Bahashem, Rakah Kwadash. Double honors to the apostles, the bishops, and the elders of Great Millstone, and salutation to you Akim out there that push this word in truth and in sincerity. What we have here is a case of a loose young woman that's out there being loose, being very promiscuous, and wind up getting knocked up. And chances are she probably didn't even know who her child's father was. But it says in the affidavit that, or her mother claimed that she was going to confess to this 17-year-old dude that killed her, that he was not the father. And I don't think that was true, because you have a lot of women that's loose like that. All you got to do is go to the Maury show. When Maury was taking DNA, giving DNA tests to these women, 90% of the fathers was not the child father. And the woman would get off the stage and start running like a wild banshee. But before that, she's putting them through all kind of hell, calling them all kind of this, all kind of that, just to find out that she was being very promiscuous. She didn't even know who the father was. In this case here with this 17-year-old teen, playing with this young man's emotions, he felt the sting of a woman at a very young age and didn't know how to handle it. Perhaps he didn't have a father in his life. Every man is going to feel the sting of a woman once or twice in their life. And it's best that it happened to you when you're young and you learn from it and grow from that. So you know what to look out for and watch for the red flag so it won't happen to you again. Now the cost in both of their lives. She's in the ground and this guy's going to be in jail for the rest of his life. Or until the missiles come. Because we ain't got 30 and 40, 50 years left in this society. So he's going to be in that prison until the missiles come. And that goes back to having no father in the house. That goes back to having a mother that's perhaps probably herself is loose. And that's why a 17-year-old daughter was loose. And now the end result of that is she got to bury her 17-year-old daughter and take care of that 3-week-old child that her daughter cranked out, being promiscuous. Chances are she was going to have that dude raise that kid, but he found out before she could deceive him to the point where as years passed, she put him on child support and it's not even his kid. So that would enrage a man. And that's what happened. He became so enraged that he deleted her. Select it for the rent, but sometimes you have to get into details of and break down how these different scenarios happen to these different people. That's why the apostles always state, stay away from the nigger woman. And she was a young, deceitful nigger woman. She wasn't bad looking, but her being promiscuous cost her life and cost this young man his life. It's not good to be promiscuous. And this is going to happen again because we're in the hopeful year of Jacob's trouble. So it's going to happen on a larger scale, these women, because they loose. Isaiah chapter 32, verse 9. Rise up, ye women that are at ease. You so much at ease that you can go out there and sleep with different men and be promiscuous and wind up getting knocked up with somebody's unit and you don't know who the father is. Or you may think you know who the father is, but he's not the father. That would enrage any man. Isaiah 32, verse 39. It's like it says 9. Rise up, ye women that are at ease. Hear my voice. How you going to hear the Lord's voice? Do his prophets that's out there in the highways and the byways pushing his word. In season, out of season, putting up videos throughout the week. That's how you going to hear the Lord's voice. Do his prophets. It says, hear my voice, ye careless daughters. Give ear unto my speech. We out there telling you, don't be promiscuous. Get an Israelite man that's in the truth and maintain that man and be with that man. Don't be out there sleeping around being loose, jumping from cock to cock. Then when you get knocked up, you don't know who the father is. So that's shame on you and shame on your mother. Where was your father at? These are things you got to ask these loose women. It says, many days and years shall ye be troubled, ye careless women. Because we're approaching some heavy times. We're approaching some heavy, dark times. And a lot of you women ain't going to make it. 95 or 90, I'm being nice, 98% of the women in America is going to be put to death. Because they loose and they wicked. And they filled with all that feminist pride that they can't see that they themselves are the problem. It says, many days and years shall ye be troubled, ye careless women, for the vintage shall fail, the gathering shall not come. Tremble ye women that are at ease. Be afraid, lady. Woman, be afraid. Because terrible dark times are coming. And all the shit you've been putting these men through, the so-called black men through, the so-called Puerto Rican man, on down to Issachar, which is the so-called Mexican man, they're not going to be there for you. And it starts with you black women. They're going to watch you. They're going to watch you squeal and being anguish and pain. And they might inflict pain on you for something that you have done to them in the past. Some men are in graves for these women. Some men are in prison over these women. And the man that's in the grave, she moves on. The man that's in prison, she moves on and do the same thing to other men. So when all hell break loose, I hope you got your receipt because you're going to have to pay for all the shit you done to these men out here. It says, tremble ye women that are at ease, be troubled, ye careless ones, strip you, make you bare. All the goodies you getting, the cumbrellas, the eyelashes you wear, to doll yourselves up. That shit is gonna be a thing in the past, man. When all hell break loose, where you gonna get the wigs from? Where you gonna get the eyelashes from? Where you gonna get the products you need when you get your monthly flower? You're gonna be smelling hella bad. Because nobody gonna wanna deal with you. You ain't gonna be able to doll yourself up. You're gonna be smelling hella bad and cast to the side because nobody gonna wanna deal with you. Not looking all bugged out with your mask on, your makeup and everything. This is the reason why a woman needs a father in her life. Because shit happens like this, and now you delete it, and somebody's going to jail for the rest of their life. It says, strip you, make you bare, and gird sackcloth upon your loins. They shall lament for the teats, all the goodies you was getting, the child support, the welfare, the Section 8, the WIC, getting child support from different men. That's coming to an abrupt end because the economy is sliding, tinkering, circling the drain. America is circling the drain. Look what's going on in Texas, in the U.S. government. Texas done put up a fence and blocking the borders and have the Texas National Guard blocking the federal troops from coming in. Side note, but things are starting to heat up. America is circling the drain. And you women going to feel it the most. They say, they shall lament for the teats, for the pleasant fields, for the fruitful vine. There's going to be no more help for you, no more goodies for you, and more crimes of passion is going to happen. That's a crime of passion. That dude got emotional, very emotional, and bust a cap on her young ass for being promiscuous and for deception. I doubt very much if she was going to confess to that dude that he wasn't the father. She probably didn't even know who the father was in the get-go. Up jump, she probably didn't know who the father was. And that's like a deep plague, man, that any man would want to avoid, man. I know I would want to avoid a woman like that. This is the book of Sirach, or Ecclesiasticus chapter 25, verse 13. And it reads, give me any plague but the plague of the heart, and any wickedness but the wickedness of a woman. And I was straight wicked, even though they had an on and off relationship. So while they was on, she probably was fucking around behind his back. While they was off, she definitely was getting her groove on. Jumping from cock to cock to cock until she got pregnant. And now she's in the grave. She was undisciplined and loose. Probably just like her mom's. And her friends that she acquainted herself with. It says, back in the book of Sirach, chapter 25, verse 13, give me any plague but the plague of the heart, and any wickedness but the wickedness of a woman, and any affliction but the affliction from them that hate me, and any revenge but the revenge of enemies. It says, there is no head above the head of a serpent, and there is no wrath above the wrath of an enemy. I had rather dwell with a lion and a dragon than to keep house with a wicked woman. Even she probably didn't even realize she was being wicked as hell and playing the whore out there. But that's what she was doing. And her mother was co-signing everything. Because she didn't teach her any good. She didn't teach her not to do that, not to be jumping around from man to man. Because she herself has jumped around from man to man. How real is that? It says, the book of Sirach, chapter 25, verse 17. The wickedness of a woman changeth her face and darkeneth her countenance like sackcloth. If her husband shall sit among his neighbors, and when he heareth it, shall sigh bitterly. Because what do you mean by he's sitting next to his neighbors? He hearing all the shit that she's doing, sleeping behind his back while he's at work, twerking on videos, bar hopping, doing all kind of manner of wickedness. So who's behind that? they daddy Esau, that give them these rights to do so, and pump them up with so much pride with that feminist crap that they think that nothing they do is wrong, no accountability whatsoever. It says, all wickedness is but little to the wickedness of a woman. Let the portion of a sinner fall upon her. All wickedness is little to the wickedness of a woman. Jumping from, these women today, nowadays, they got a body count and they proud of their body count. They got a body count probably over 100 men. I'm being nice. And that's crazy, man. So by the time they're in their 30s, they shit is loose and beat up. And no man want nothing like that. By the time you're in your late 20s, early 30s, your shit is loose and beat up. Like a used car that has over 200,000 miles on it. It's crazy, man. It says, as a climbing up of a sandy way is to the feet of the aged, so is a wife full of words to a quiet man. She always nagging, talking shit, being disrespectful, not being a woman, a wife to a husband. That gonna make a man depressed. It says, stumble not at the beauty of a woman, and desire not for pleasure. A woman, if she maintain a husband, is full of anger, impudence, and much reproach. A wicked woman abated the courage, maketh an heavy countenance and a wounded heart. A woman that will not comfort her husband in distress maketh weak hands and feeble knees. And most of these women, they will give up their family for their own happiness. Whereas a man will give up his happiness for his family. But not with a woman. A woman will sacrifice her family for her happiness. These modern women. It says, verse 24, of the woman came the beginning of sin, and do her we all die. Because who was in the transgression? Who got deceived by that serpent, which is really a man? Esau, what color? The woman. She got into some different philosophies and brought it to her husband. So of the woman is muted again. It says, of the woman came the beginning of sin, and do her we all die. Give the water no passage, neither a wicked woman liberty to gad abroad. And that little young chick was 17. She had all kind of liberty. She was gadding abroad, being promiscuous, and being shameless, or should I say, being shameful. They had no accountability for her actions, and it led to her getting knocked up, not knowing who the father was. Unbelievable. You can't make this up. This is the book of Sirach, chapter 25, verse 26. If she go not as thou would have her, cut her off from thy flesh and give her a bit of divorce, let her go. On and off relationships is not healthy, man. Especially if it's a toxic relationship. That's why it's on and off. But you couldn't find yourself a better woman. You was that much a tender dick. You was that much head over heels for this woman that you kept on going back, knowing she was being promiscuous, knowing she was out there being loose. Now you going to jail for life until the missiles come, and she's in the ground in her right state of mind. She's in the spirit world. Was it worth it? The book of Sirach, chapter 26, verse 7. An evil wife is a yoke shaken to and fro. He that have hold of her is though he held a scorpion. You don't want to be with no wicked woman when you can't trust her. where she's loose to the point that you got to question whether you're the father of a child or not. You got to question if she goes goes with her friends. You got to question where you at. You don't need that. That's a headache. That's a headache. You don't want that, man. A woman's supposed to be a comfort unto her husband, her man. But these women today, man, they drive you crazy. Thinking about where they at. If you can't trust a woman, or if you got to beat a woman, you don't need that woman. If you can't trust a woman, which I don't, then you don't need that woman, man. Because these women today are slick and wicked. It says, a drunken woman and a gatherer abroad causes great anger, and she will not cover her own shame. These women, they be on social media twerking. They brag about their body counts. She ain't covering her own shame. She's proud that she got a 150-man body count. She proud that she out there setting men up. She proud that she out there being a gold digger. She have no shame. And that's these modern day women. And the end result of being a modern day woman with no father in the house, you get yourself deleted. Or knocked up not knowing who the father is, which will lead to something harsh coming down the pipe. It says, the whoredom of a woman may be known in her haughty looks and eyelids. You see, these women be wearing these umbrellas, wore the makeup on, their haughty looks, eyelashes that come out, bear claws on their hands as nails. You could tell the type of woman you got when you see a woman with weaved out, with blonde weave. Some of these nigga women put blue eye contacts in their eyes. Self-hatred. When you see a woman with blue eye contacts and blonde hair, with the haughty eyelash and haughty look, that's self-hatred, man. It says, if thy daughter be shameless, keep her in straitly, lest she abuse herself through overmuch liberty. And that's what that 17-year-old girl was doing. And she's 17, she just cranked out a unit. That means she was promiscuous and having sex probably at the age of 11, 12. Who knows, man? Who knows her body count at the age of 17? Well, she didn't have a body count no more because she's been deleted. Teen fatally shot girlfriend after finding out he wasn't the father of her 3-week-old baby. Judgment. Absolute judgment. And more judgment is coming down the pipe. You women are going to have a hard way to go when all hell breaks loose. It says, back in the book of Sirach 26, verse 10, if thy daughter be shameless, keep her in straitly, lest she abuse herself with overmuch liberty. Watch over an impudent eye, and marvel not if she trespass against thee. She will open her mouth as a thirsty traveler. You know what that means. I ain't gonna get graphic, but we already know what that's getting to. It says, when he have found when he had found the fountain and drank of every water near her, by every hedge she will sit down and open her quiver against every arrow. We already know what that is, being promiscuous. They start young now. 11, 12, 10 perhaps. Soon as she start itching, they want it scratched. And by the time they're in their early 20s or mid-20s, they shit is beat up. Through. Loose, beat up, and the lips are hanging. It says, Sirach chapter 26, verse 13. The grace of a wife, the light of her husband, and her discretion will fatten his bones. A silent and lovely woman is a gift from the Lord, and there is nothing so much worth as a mind well instructed. Hey, man, you ain't gonna find that in these women, these modern day women today, man. They masculine, filled with pride, don't know how to shut the fuck up. You ain't gonna find that with these women today. It says, a shamefaced and faithful woman is a double grace, and her contentment mind cannot be valued. Amen. Bottom line, being promiscuous got this young teenager deleted. She left her baby to her mother, and from the way the looks of it, her mother didn't do a good job raising the 17-year-old kid. So how she gonna raise her grandbaby? This is just heartbreaking. But we all know that, hey, the Lord did that to her, man. The Lord did that to her. Why? Because she wasn't innocent. Job 4:7. Remember, I pray thee, whoever perished being innocent, or where were the righteous cut off? Even as I have seen, they that plow iniquity and sow wickedness reap the same. We were out there committing all kind of lewd acts and being promiscuous and twerking and just being a demon. Judgment comes. It says, by the blast of the Most High Yahweh, they perish, and by the breath of his nostrils are they consumed. That's what happened. She got put down. It says, basically, that was it. Let me get one more scripture before I close it out. Let you know that the Lord doing this, man. The Lord, she wasn't innocent. Whether she did something in this life or in her previous life, she had to pay for her sin. And that sin was worthy of death. Adultery is a sin unto death. And that's what happened. 1 Samuel chapter 2, verse 6. The Lord killeth and maketh alive. He bringeth down to the grave and bringeth up. The Lord kill and make alive. One more scripture I should bring out. The Lord did that to him, man. Deuteronomy 32, verse 39. See now that I, even I am he, and there's no God with me. I kill and I make alive. I wound and I heal. Neither is there any that can deliver out of my hand. For I lift my hand to heaven and say, I live forever. If I wet my glittering sword and my hand take hold on judgment, I will render vengeance to my enemies and will reward them that hate me. I will take hold on judgment. That was the judgment of the Lord, man. To this young, promiscuous, young, promiscuous, filled with pride woman. Because she wasn't filled with pride. She wouldn't have been jumping from cock to cock. It is what it is. She ain't going to suffer. She's in the spirit world. The one who's going to suffer for the remaining time of America's still in existence is that dude that's in jail. Because the 3-week-old baby's not going to know her. It's a shame, but it's judgment. Shalom.